Hi everybody, Patrick Creel. I wanted to share with you a interview I was able to shoot at this year's San Diego Comic-Con 2012 with some of the creative geniuses behind IDW's Ghostbusters ongoing comic book series. Be warned, the audio isn't the best that it could be, so I apologize in advance for that. I also wasn't able to interview everybody. I was able to speak to Tristan Jones for a little bit, not with cameras rolling, but fantastic fan, as well as just wants the best books out there. And if anything can be taken away from this interview, and from when I got a chance to talk to them, is that they care a lot about what the fans think, because they are fans themselves. So the more input that you can give IDW, the better off these comics can be. So enjoy the IDW booth. Dan Schoening, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. I'm not butchering names yet.
Yeah.
And Erik Burnham?
Close enough.
Close enough? Most exciting thing about working on these comics for the Ghostbusters?
For me personally, I think it's just being a part of the Ghostbusters mythos.
Mythos, yes, absolutely.
And adding to like the comic canon at least.
Right.
And being able to participate in something that I grew up with as a kid. I just love the Ghostbusters. So.
Man, you put it perfectly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's the most fun job.
What's the most fun part for you for writing? For this series? Yeah.
It's the goal of just trying to come up with something that people will think is funny, quote, just somewhere a level of entertainment and amusement. That's what just shooting for that is fun. So that's what I go with.
Boom! Right there. Would you mind talking to us and telling us what you're doing on the Ghostbuster comic book?
Yeah, well, we've been working on the colors because it's a main part of the book. Is you have the ghost and you have to make the effects and the protopacks and the proton strings, everything. Yeah. So Dad has to draw all the crazy ghosts, and I have to come up with a different kind of way to portray them, because you cannot make a green ghost for 12 issues every single time.
Right.
So I want to keep it interesting. I want to keep the skies. I don't want to make just blue skies. So at night and at day it's just blue skies. So I want to try greens, and I try reds, and I try every crazy color that I can come up with. And I actually try a purple sky for issue 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. And I try to keep up with these guys, because the truth is, they always say, yeah, you're good too, and everything. But the story is amazing, and the dance pencil out of this world. So I just have to do my best to stay at the same level that these guys are doing.
So first, what is it about Ghostbusters? What draw you to it as I'm sure it started at an early age.
Oh yeah.
But what was it about Ghostbusters?
It was just the humor. Coming up against horrors, and I was scared, a little kid, and then I see this movie, okay, a little scary stuff going on, and here come jokes, and I just connected with that. So
It's kind of first and foremost a comedy,
right?
With horror elements in it, right? So that's why I think the style that I'm drawing and with Erik's awesome writing, it just gels so well, because it really plays up that comedy element.
Right.
And it has that flavor to it. So I think if it was anything else, if it looked too kind of mainstream comic bookish, it might not play as well with the writing. So I think it's a really good matchup. So it's really good. The ordinary meets the extraordinary, right? And that's where I think that's one of the key elements to
makes for great comics,
right? Yeah, for sure. So and we all have a heavy passion for the Ghostbusters, right? And when anybody has that and brings that into a creative forum, it's going to be good stuff.
Ghostbusters, then, that you love so much, and what was it about Ghostbusters?
I think it was a movie. No, the movie. Actually, but I started loving it because of the cartoon show. Because I was 2 years old when the movie came out, so I was too young for it.
Right.
So I started watching the cartoons, and I used to love Slimer. I mean, he was my favorite. He was so funny.
Right.
And then I watched the movies a couple of years later on TV, and I fell in love with everything. And I had the Ecto one, and I had a small proton pack toy, and I have a couple of Ghostbusters, and all the ghosts I could come up with, and I started playing with them all my childhood, and all the cartoons and the movies. And I'm not one of those guys that is just saying like, I used to like this character even before
Right.
I worked with him. I did. I was a huge Ghostbusters fan.
Well, that's why. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you get to work with all avenues of Ghostbusters? We're talking extreme, real, and the movies. You get to work with all the characters basically to a point, or
Not quite all. We can't use Dana or Lewis.
Okay.
But we've been able to sneak in everything else without any problem. So.
Yeah. So yeah, we kind of like we like to like visually. I like to grab at like as many of the different areas of Ghostbusters as I can. It's kind of nice to have those little hat tips to like real Ghostbusters or extreme Ghostbusters, like with Kylie.
Right. Yeah, that was a very
Shop,
cool thing, and
even though it's
Raise
not,
a Cold. Yeah.
it's not a part of the Extreme Ghostbusters show. We can still bring her in.
And if I may toot your own horn for a moment, you've been a huge fan favorite in the community for so long, and then when everybody saw that you were becoming a part of it, and it blossomed into something quite amazing. Nothing against you. I mean,
No.
How did that make you feel?
Well, I was totally honored.
Yeah.
Very, very humbled, and it's like I had been doing fan art for Ghostbusters for quite some time beforehand. So
Oh yeah.
I wasn't expecting to be doing the comics, so it's like a totally amazing experience. So
Cool. I talked to Tom Waltz last year. He said that you're very, constrictive of, particular about the things that you draw. And it's got to be just
the details.
the details. Can you go into a little bit of that about that for us? Because so many people are like, oh my God, did you turn to this page? Did you notice this tiny little thing in the very corner of this panel is from this episode?
Yeah. Well, I like to hide like little Easter eggs here and there, like I mentioned with like the real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters and from the movie and stuff like that. I just find it keeps it fresh for me, and I know that people really like to see just these little nods in there.
Right.
So I guess I think I know Lewis really hates me for all the details I put in there because sometimes he'll zoom in to the art and see like, oh, I gotta color that little tiny thing in there. And I send a lot of reference to him so he can see exactly how that's colored, just in case he hasn't watched across it. I try and pack as much as I can in there. Right. So it makes me feel good to be doing that. So I consider it a labor of art.
I'm going to ask this for the fans.
Yeah.
What's coming up next for the guys? Come on, can you give some? Can you give a little teases? Can we give a little teases here? Let's put the pressure on the writer. Is that how it works? The pressure on the writer.
We finish when we finish up with Haunted America. We'll send them back to New York. Do a little pit stop in Chicago, and
Chicago. That's a good place.
Chicago.
To end up.
Some deep
you know
dish
what?
pizza.
I can have a little chat with the rookie. So that was
The rookie.
Maybe a little bit.
just a little bit.
So
Just giving you a.
Drop him in.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a
spoiler. Yeah.
spoiler.
Well, it's a little spoiler. But I mean, people have been asking for it for a year. Can we get a panel or a mention? So give them a little space.
and without the fans, we wouldn't have a book either,
Right.
right? So it's
It's
huge.
not a big deal. We love
See that?
the fans.
They love the fans.
Yeah, we
so
do.
they're here for
Thank
you.
you so much for keeping us working.
Yeah, actually, we thank you guys for keep buying the comic. It's not like the other way around. Like we believe we're big shots and we're doing it just with calming down. It's the other way around. I just love knowing. I read all the forum and
Right.
the people will just see it because I want to know that you guys still love it and we're doing our job right. That's what we
Yeah,
wanna
for
do.
sure.
And this is the first time it's San Diego Comic-Con that we've actually had the entire creative team together, and you guys are all basically international, if you will. So, where'd you come from?
I came from Brainerd, Minnesota.
Victoria, BC, Canada.
Mexico City.
What are you guys else working on besides Ghostbusters? Just to go off topic for a moment. Sleep
And family time.
and family time.
That's about all I got.
That is very important.
Also sleep, plus dipping my toe a little bit into some Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, how's that going?
It's going good. They just announced I'm helping out, doing a little script help on a Porsche miniseries coming out at the end of the year.
Very awesome. And on behalf of all the fans, I want to say thank you so much for all your hard work. I've got some comics I desperately need to get signed by these guys. Any last words for the fans, guys?
No, I'm just going to say thank you again. Thank you so much.
We're ready to believe you.
He's better. He's better at it.
Yeah, no, just thank you guys. Thank you because without you, we couldn't be doing these stories, and we also love the stories.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, thank you very much for watching. Keep reading the IDW comic books.